Face front true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize Podcast, a podcast where we talk comics, movies, merchandise, and more. I am your host, Boingo Writer, and with me, as always, in the bullpen,
representing the Holly Jolly competition, the Vacuuminator is here.
Yeah, and you know, it is the Christmas season this week, so we thought, why don't we enjoy the story of a man who sacrificed so much for us, who has died for us and came back for us in so many ways and has helped so many people across the world.
Oh yeah, I know this one. I've read this book.
It's Superman.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that too. That's fine. Baby Jesus is an asshole anyway.
We're talking Superman.
How about that? Yeah! The penultimate stop on my farewell tour of superhero movies I really like and we haven't gotten a chance to talk about on this thing yet. I could have made Boingo watch a nice, simple, the best episode of Justice League, the Christmas episode that's only one part. But no, fuck you. 2.5 hour 70s movie.
No, it's 2 hour 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's not.
And like,
here's the thing. It is purposefully 2 movies duct taped together.
Because originally Donner had a whole fucking trilogy planned, and then they stepped in, and he was going to shoot the whole trilogy together, and then just release them 1 year after another. And then about halfway through, Warner stepped in and went, no, fuck you. We're making one movie out of the first 2, and then the third one we're going to make into the second movie, and we're going to bring in another director to do it.
Well, eventually we did get the Donner cut, so there is that.
And like, here's the thing: even though the theatrically released Superman 2 is kind of goofy, it's still a solid movie. It's 3 and 4 where it goes off the rails.
Yeah, well, those were never intended. But we're talking about Superman, the original blockbuster superhero flick, starring Christopher Reeves. Can't remember.
Margot Kidder.
I was about to say Margot Robbie, and I was like, wait, no, that's contemporary.
No, I think Margot Robbie was like negative 20 years old when this came out.
Yeah, I was just like, is Margot Robbie? No, Kidder.
No, it's Margot Kidder and Gene Hackman.
Which I will say this. I have seen people give Gene Hackman Luther shit.
That's people who are used to modern Lex Luthor. You got to remember, Gene Hackman is playing original classic Silver Age Lex Luthor.
And even then, it's still sort of like contemporary Lex Luthor in terms of attitude. It's not that dissimilar.
And you also got to remember, this movie is from like a whole other time in comic book culture. This is when comics were still considered like an exclusively child-oriented medium. This is when you could still get comics at newsstands. This is before Crisis on Infinite Earths was even a fucking glimmer in George Perez's eye.
It's so weird going back to this movie because we're Superman fans today, post Crisis, post all the crises, post fucking
New 52 and Rebirth,
both of those, post John Kent, post death, post return.
And this is when the super family was Superman, Supergirl, Comet the super horse, Beppo the super monkey, and Crypto the super dog, and that was it. Occasionally Mixie would get in there and mix it up.
Yeah, but like, I will say this, the additions to the Superman family after this movie are good. Steel is a great character.
Oh yeah. But this movie, I genuinely think is fantastic. Like, there's a part of me that like acknowledges there are little bits and bobs in this movie that are kind of dated, but on the whole, I think it's one of the best superhero movies ever made, and I think it's still to this day the best superhero movie Warner Brothers has ever made.
Steel starring Shaq? No! Steel starring a good character. I have nothing
Good
against
evening,
Shaq the
Aki.
Man. Shaq the Man seems to be a really good man who has tried to do a lot for his community with his money and resources and fame. Like I saw a little clip of like when he was gonna get a shoe deal back when he was playing,
Yeah.
and he was like, oh, it was gonna be like $60-$80, and then he realized, wait a second, there are kids who need shoes, and if I put my name on them, they might be cool and they won't get shit on, you know. So let's make good looking shoes for those kids. And it's like, that's good. That. I like Shaq as a person. Shaq as a man seems good.
Superman versus the Elite is a better Superman movie, but this is a better movie. I mean, that's a fair take to have, Buster, but if I can pull up my glasses real quick and be a big preening asshole, I've never seen Superman the Elite because I read the comic book and that was enough for me.
They've had some stuff in the movie. It's good.
I've heard. But like this fucking movie.
The best way to put it is this is the best. This is a quintessential Superman movie. That is the best defense of Superman as a concept and a character.
Because you got to remember, this movie came out in 1978, which was like when America was just starting to come out of one of the most cynical periods in its history. And I think culturally, you can partly credit the success of this movie for pulling us out of that cynical period. Because it is very much just, hey, Axel, it is very much just, like, look, Superman is cool, Superman is fun. Here is just the basic origin of Superman movie retold with some more modern ideas and sensibilities to it.
Second to last, we have one more, Axel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I briefly mentioned this before the podcast, but okay, the tagline of this movie is "You'll believe a man can fly." And for the most part, that's like, oh, look at these really good special effects. Look how good we got. Look how good Superman looks. And which, for the time, yeah. Here's the thing. With today's technology, you can clean it up a little bit. I wouldn't do anything else, but like you could composite it better and everything.
Mostly the flying looks fantastic for its time. The running, though.
Thank God they only have the one running scene.
Yeah, like that scene is great to illustrate Clark's character at that point in time. But if you're looking at it from an effects standpoint, oh man, oh boy,
but
that is some rough early blue screen.
Oh, the best one though is like the best flying bit is right after his college years with Jor-El, because that's technically what that is. And he's in the fortress and he starts flying towards the camera and it just feels so smooth and natural.
Oh yeah, you know that was the shot they sold this movie on.
But as I was saying with the tagline, it's people always go like, oh, you'll believe a man can fly. It's about the special effects. No. You'll believe a man can fly. You'll believe in Superman.
Yeah, you need to believe that this guy is as good and as kind as he is. Like, I think this movie is like 40% special effects, 40% Christopher Reeve's performance, and then like whatever percent is left over to make 100 the script.
Oh yeah, it'd be 20.
Yeah, sorry, it's late. I'm not gonna math that hard.
But like that's what the tagline's saying. It's like you'll believe in Superman.
Yeah,
and like, which you do. The minute
my favorite fucking scene in this movie, dude, is the little bit after the famous Lois Superman interview scene where Clark comes into her apartment. He comes into her apartment as Clark to take her on the actual date they were supposed to go on. And she goes to get something from another room, and he just fucking straightens up and takes the glasses off, and he's like, this is it, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her because I trust her and I think I love her. And then she walks back in, and he immediately goes back into the Clark disguise like, no, I can't do it. I'm not ready. Like, that is just... perfect fucking body language in that scene.
Yeah, it is the clip you show people whenever anybody goes like, why doesn't anybody think Superman and Clark are the same person? Because they aren't the same person.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And here's the thing. Both in this movie, I really believe both Superman and Clark are a performance to a degree. The Clark in Metropolis, that is. The Clark in Smallville, the little bit we get of him in Smallville, that's what that guy's actually like.
Yeah. Because one has glasses. That's the glasses are just like
it's the posture, it's the speech pattern.
It's posture, it's speech pattern, it's the way he moves, it's the way he behaves himself, you know? It's yeah. Mm-hmm. It's real good.
Like, speaking of which, I did look a little bit into the behind the scenes for the first time in a while I was watching this. Do you know like how this movie was shot?
On film?
No, I mean like location wise, because I was particularly impressed by the Smallville scenes because I was like, this is just so beautiful because like there's nowhere in America that looks like that. Even in the farmland we still have here in America, it's all like industrialized and there's so much machinery dedicated to it. You could never get a scene that looks like the Kent farm in this movie again. And then I was like, wait, is this America or am I being silly here? And I went and looked it up. The Metropolis stuff was shot on location in New York during the Summer of Sam.
Fuck!
Yeah.
We'll explain that in a minute, folks, if you don't know what that is.
The Kansas stuff was shot in Alberta, Canada.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
For people who aren't aware of what the Son of Sam stuff is, there was a serial killer for a brief moment in New York. When he was caught, he signed his letters like Son of Sam, but when he was caught, they were like, what the fuck is Sam? It's like, oh, the dog was telling me to kill people. Oh, great.
Yeah. There were also like a lot of riots and rolling blackouts during that summer in New York.
Jesus. There's a lot of great little bit. Here's the thing. I think this movie could have had Superman. If we're genuinely critiquing this movie, I think Superman could have been spread out through the movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because
it takes like an hour before he puts on the costume.
And I don't even mind, like, it's just more of like, I would, you know what I mean? It's just, it feels very like, they really want to add the pathos and the moment and the gravitas to the origin and everything. And
that's the other thing that really makes me like this movie, honestly, is that it is from another time where you could take that much time with a movie.
Yeah. Also, I know it's a minor quibble for people, but it's like the opening. It makes sense if you're going like, oh, it's part 1 versus part 2 of a trilogy or duology with Jor-El and Zod, and it just feels like it doesn't have any payoff in here. But I realize, like, no, there's payoff in here. This is a parallel between Clark and Lex. Showcasing, like, the core, one half of the core of who Superman is. The other half is John Kent.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, that's the other huge thing about this movie. 90% of the Krypton in this is invented for the movie.
Well, because most of it before then was just fucking Buck Rogers 21st
goofy 1950s sci-fi shit.
Yeah.
And in this, Richard Donner had the brilliant idea of crystals, and now crystals is like an intuitive, like intrinsic part of Superman's mythos.
Yeah. You know what fucks with me though? That green crystal. I was like, why isn't Superman being affected by the kryptonite?
Yeah. It is a little weird.
It should have been a different color.
It should have been blue.
Yeah. Or red. Red I could accept.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what else makes this movie from a different time?
The full frontal child nudity.
That's exactly where I was going.
Oh, of course it was Alberta. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's still the Great Plains, technically.
Yeah. I always forget that's in. There's two things about this movie that I always forget are in this movie, and it's the full frontal toddler nudity, and the fact that there's actually a little opening where a child narrates the like base setup, and you're seeing an Action Comics cover before it goes to the iconic opening credits.
Yeah, it's trying to evoke fairy tales.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
we call this a comic book movie. This is just a fairy tale.
Yeah, I think this is where the idea of superheroes being the modern mythology starts, because it's very much that same kind of setup. And like I always forget, because there's certain things about this movie that make it very obviously from the 70s, but
the opening credits are one.
The opening credits, the pimp who says Superman has a bad outfit. And but like in those opening credits, the child literally says in the year 1930. So like this is supposed to be a period piece set in the 30s. And yet they still put that pimp in there, and the phone booth gag that comes right before.
No. I think it's much more of like in the 30s, Superman was invented, and now we're telling the story because all the cars are from the 70s. Those are all 70s vehicles.
Except for Jonathan Kent's truck, which looks like it was built in 1932.
Once we get to Metropolis, it's all modern day New York.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we've tiptoed around him a little bit. He's only in like 2 scenes, but I love Jonathan Kent in this. It's just like the perfect consummate old American wise father figure.
Yeah.
And it just works so perfectly. He has the one scene where he imparts the fatherly advice to Clark, and it works so well, especially that it's like hammered home with his death and how it affects Clark, which I gotta say, this is the first time I watched this since my dad passed, and it actually hit me a lot harder this time around.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting things. Again, it's also very much of its time because it is heavily focused on Clark and his dad's and nothing about his mom's.
Yeah, Martha is not a character at all, and Laura is barely a character.
I'd say it's the other way around. Laura's not even there, and Martha has at least something. But it's just, it's hilarious because Marlon Brando's doing this full ass monologue of "You are my son, Krypton, my son. You are gonna do good things," and then the mom is just like,
"Fuck off, Aki." Don't taint this discussion with those jokes.
Oh, that's the thing we should probably talk about. Marlon Brando as Jor-El. Something that has been parodied to death and back. I was like, oh yeah, he's probably gonna fucking mumble his... No! He's putting in some effort.
He's rather eloquent. It like makes sense that they gave him the top billing beyond he was the most established star at the time.
But like every parody, it's you know what it is? It's late career Marlon Brando in the Superman in the Jor-El costume, doing a Godfather impression. It's never accurate to just fucking Superman.
Yeah. It's a lot of people like just piecing it together, kind of like how people have always done for Arnold, where everybody's Arnold impression is always get to the chopper, I'm the governor. It's not a tuba. And it's like you listen to any clip of Arnold ever, and he does not actually sound like that.
He's a little bit more eloquent, and he's like this. He's talking like it's just an accent, you know. You know. Something he actually had to do vocal training to keep because he realized it was such a trademark of him that he was getting too much of American accent living in America for so long. So he went to a vocal coach to reinforce his accent.
Yeah, makes sense though. Makes sense.
we have talked about a lot of the ancillary stuff, but we have to let's first off. This is baseline Jimmy Olsen. I wouldn't say he's an amazing performance because he barely does anything, but
Jimmy is barely a character in this movie.
Jimmy is barely a character in this movie, but that is a Jimmy ass Olsen.
That is accurate to a T of what Jimmy was in the comics at the time.
And they certainly added a lot more to Jimmy over the years. Such as a hot goth rocker girlfriend.
Yeah. And now he's the fucking editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet.
Temporarily.
We'll talk about that later.
Perry White. This is a great Perry White.
Oh, I love this Perry White. I wish I could remember the actor's name.
Has there been a bad Perry? Because I will say even this. Morpheus as Perry White. I can't remember the actor's name.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne is Perry White. That's brilliant cast. That's good.
He's the only Perry White whose actor name I can ever remember. But I love pretty much everybody who's played Perry White. I love Lawrence Fishburne. I love this guy. I love the guy who played him in Superman Returns. It's just like Perry White is a very hard to screw up character because it's just a softer J. Jonah Jameson. Like, I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. That's a hard character to pull off. That's why they keep bringing J.K. Simmons back, because they go like, you actually know how to do this, and we don't want to fuck it up.
Here's the thing. Jonah is a mean bastard who doesn't want you to know he actually cares. Perry is a guy who really cares, but wants you to think he's a mean bastard. They're just flipped.
Yeah. But here's like the thing, they both have like steadfast ethics. That once you see it, like everything kind of makes sense for the character.
Yeah, Perry's reaction to anything anyone at the Daily Planet is doing is always just like, why the fuck aren't you out there asking questions? Why aren't you getting me a story?
Why aren't you getting me get the truth? Get the truth. Right? Where J. Jonah, My Adventure Superman, I started the first few episodes. I think that
we covered that on a few episodes of the podcast not too long ago.
Then the strikes happened.
Yeah, go back into the archives.
We didn't finish. I didn't finish it. I think Vac finished it though.
Yeah, and I think I talked about finishing it on this show, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. But like J. Jonah Jameson's very much tell the truth, but let's make sure we keep everything afloat.
Yeah.
I'm okay sensationalizing a little bit so long as we can keep this train running.
Yeah. And then Lois is pretty good in this. I think she's a little dumbed down from like our idea of Lois.
Yeah. Lois,
although I would argue she's actually a stronger character than Lois was in the comics at this time.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think we have our version of Lois without this Margot performance.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Because the thing is, this is a Lois who's too busy to care about Clark kind of fawning after her. The Lois we know is the Lois who's the driven career woman and is a little annoyed that Clark is fawning after her and not coming with her after the story.
It's like, come on, keep up. But also she's whip crack and smart and all that kind of stuff, and it's willing to call Superman on his shit more often. Where this one, she's a little like, I wouldn't say starstruck, but it's very much more. It feels like
she literally has that moment when she turns into like a parody of a little girl during the flying scene, where you hear her inner monologue of like, "Can you hear my thoughts? Do you?"
That whole scene started, and I was like, "Oh, maybe this version I'm watching has that cut out." And then it started happening. It's like, "Oh, that's when it
Here we go."
It's not the worst thing in the world. It's a poem. Come on.
And it was like one of the most romantic things moviegoers had ever seen at the time,
involving,
which just shows how far we've come.
Yeah, but like, she doesn't know how to spell. She always gets the stories. She's very focused on the stories.
She's always doing something. She's always got shit she's working on.
Oh, that's another thing.
She's not just there to be an exposition tool.
That's another thing. It's like, they don't... Do they ever establish that she has a Pulitzer in this movie, or is she just aiming for one?
Think she's aiming for one. I
Because
don't remember hearing the word Pulitzer in this
that's the
movie.
thing that that every version of Lois after this, it's like not necessarily after this, it's like Lois
Yeah.
always has a Pulitzer.
Yeah, she's the Pulitzer Prize winning reporter. She's the star reporter at Daily Planet. And when her and Clark first meet, she hates him because she feels like he's upstaging her because he's an amazing typist. Because
Yeah,
Superman comes from a period when how fast you could type really fucking mattered for most jobs.
I mean it still matters for certain professions.
Mm-hmm. But it's like
Know your
also.
home row, folks.
Mhm.
Um, but it's good Lois. That's another thing. I think we're now to the point where we kind of are like, yeah, Lois is racially ambiguous. And like
Yeah.
this is very much in a time where it's like, no, Lois is a white woman. That's like, no, no, she's racially
Mhm.
ambiguous.
She's racially ambiguous, though I personally prefer Lois to be Asian. I don't
Yeah,
know why. It's just whenever I see that, I'm like, yeah, that feels right to me.
sure. I just think racially ambiguous for Lois makes it. I wouldn't say it's like it's a necessity, but it's like it just a it's just career driven woman who isn't just like the stereotypical white woman kind of thing. It's like okay, it's
Hmm.
nice. Again, diversity is also cool, but also it's just like she's in a she's in a field where women are already on the back foot because men's boy club kind of thing,
Yeah.
and she's not white, so there's also that level. But she's that driven and accomplished. Parallel Superman being an alien and trying to operate within the world, you know?
Hmm. But Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve just have such good chemistry
Yeah.
in this movie. Like there's the scene we already talked about with him taking off the glasses, but also like the freaking robbery scene is another clip that you can just show anybody and be like, yeah, this is Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's really good. It's solid. I love him. I love him literally winking to the camera when he like revealed the bullet in his hand.
yeah.
We've talked about everybody. No, let's talk about Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor.
Gene Hackman fucking kills in this movie.
You know,
Like he
okay,
steals every scene he's in. I'm
yes.
sorry.
The only complaint. I wish he was bald throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, you know the only reason they didn't have him take off his wig until the final scene is because Gene Hackman said he would only do the role if he didn't have to shave his head.
That's fair, but like, goddamn, imagine if he was bald Lex Luthor the entire time.
Hmm. Though the wig's gag is pretty nice in how
Yeah,
subtle it is.
it's
Um,
fine. It's subtle. It plays into Lex's vanity, and that's a fine thing. But it's just like I like him being an angry little bald man, pissed off that that he doesn't have hair. But
mhm.
you know,
And Miss Tessmacher is a pretty good henchwoman in this movie. I don't think I've ever liked her in any other Superman media. Um, and Otis sure does exist.
yeah, he needs someone to be a bumbling idiot to sound smart against.
Hmm. Riddle me this though, Boing Man. How does a robot get the hiccups?
Uh, the Ram got jammed. Invincible, the cartoon confirming ethnicity of Mark and his mother, and the uncomfortable implication and commentary has made me kind of dislike the idea of Asian Lois. I can see that, but here's the thing: that's a completely different franchise.
Yeah, I don't even entirely know what you're talking about because I ain't seen the fucking Invincible show.
They made Mark's mom, I think Korean. I don't. She's Asian. Um,
Okay.
so Mark is half Asian, and it's kind of like I wouldn't say there's implications of like hot Asian wife bullshit, you know,
Hmm.
of like that kind of thing. But it could be seen, it could be read into. But there's
Well, I guess
also
that would explain all the fan art of his fucking mom then.
Jesus.
I saw that when the show came out and I was like, I don't hate MILFs, but like, damn, y'all are a little desperate there.
Um, there's also another kind of squicky implication with Invincible though hockey, which I think is more precedent with Voltrumites. But we'll not talk about that. Gene Hackman just nails Lex. Great, solid, smart.
Just the perfect I know better than you and I am perfect and I am brilliant and shut the fuck up, get out of my way.
Anything you do that is not furthering my goal is utter buffoonery, and I hate you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Was Tessmacher before or after Mercy Graves?
I'm not entirely sure because I think Miss Tessmacher was invented for this movie, but I don't know much about Mercy's invention. I'm gonna Google this real quick though because I have always low key wondered.
Because for people who are unaware, Mercy Graves is Lex's most consistent henchwoman in comics and cartoons. Uh,
Though
though,
the general public knows Eve Tessmacher better because of this movie.
yeah. Mercy Graves is also often a cyborg.
Okay, so Eve was made for this movie, but she first appeared in the comics the same year.
Mm. Sort of like making things up for Spawn and then putting it in the comic so it's comic accurate.
Mercy was created for Superman the Animated Series.
Huh.
So Eve came first.
I like Mercy Graves better because she can punch.
That's fair.
And I mean, one of them's in the comics right now, so.
Yeah. Though wouldn't that be great if like Lex goes bad again and they bring Miss Tessmacher back and Eve's like fucking pissed like, "Oh, you're cheating on me."
Uh so we've talked about every character. Let's talk about Christopher fucking Reeves.
He's just perfect.
It's
Like
hard to top him.
there have been other actors who have done really good with Superman since, but there's nobody who you think of and it's just like, yeah, that guy just was Superman on screen other than him.
It's the smile. It's the immediacy of the smile. It's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also just really love the build he has for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that he looks fit, but he doesn't look cut or at all really muscular. Like,
Well, we
that's
also
how I like Superman, because that makes the super strength so much more impressive.
it's also he never does take off his shirt like contemporary superhero movies. Like we gotta get that. We gotta show them the muscles. You know.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
it's the ease with which he does everything as Superman too.
yeah. Everything just looks easy for him,
Mm-hmm.
in like a
But
good way.
but never in like an arrogant way. In just okay, yeah, well, I gotta help this person, so I'm just gonna do this now.
Yeah. It it's very Superman.
Yeah. And then as like we said, as Clark, he's just perfectly bumbling. He's exactly what you want pre Lois knows the secret Clark to be like.
Exactly.
Like after Lois knows the secret, I don't mind him getting a little more casual, letting a little more of the farm boy out. But before she does, I want him to be the most awkward bumblefuck you've ever seen in your life.
like you see this performance and you go, "Oh, that informed All-Star Superman. This informed Superman for All Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
This informed Superman Birthright. This informed this informs contemporary Superman comic right now."
Yeah. I mean, this movie comes out and it's hugely influential in pop culture in general. And then 6 years after this is when Crisis on Infinite Earths happens, and they reboot Superman with the Man of Steel series. And a lot of the Kryptonian mythology in that comes straight from this movie. Like, John
It's
Byrne did a few different things, but he
mhm.
mostly went with what this movie did.
It's I wouldn't even say he copied it. It's just more of like this is what Superman, this is what Krypton looks like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
and he was just
Which,
following that
by
trend.
the way, that first fucking miniature shot, how fucking beautiful was
Oh
that?
yeah,
I
dude.
love the effects in this movie and like the weird sci-fi shit. Because none of it comes off as like the goofy Buck Rogers or like we have to explain super hard to make you understand how this works. It's just, it is there. It is very matter of fact. Like even the powers, there's a little bit of an explanation from Jor-El right at the beginning where he's like, well, his dense molecular structure will make him different from others, and the red sun radiation, but it's just sci-fi gobbledygook, and it doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything.
And now we have a similar thing. It's just like he gets power from the sun. That's it. You don't have to worry about how his powers work. It's just it's from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And you know.
Yeah, like it really is one of those things where it's like the Force. I don't mind there being a bit of an explanation, but don't explain it the whole way.
Right. Which you know what? I don't think they ever did. People point at midichlorians going like that explain that's the force. It's like, no.
Here's the thing.
That is a
They
living
fucking did. They did in the EU. But in the
Yeah.
movies, they just went midichlorians exist.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The midichlorians to me are just a microscopic organism that feeds on the force. That if you have a lot of the force, you just have a lot of them. It's not saying the midichlorians give you the force. It's just like, oh, you have a lot of force. We can check that with midichlorians.
Yeah. But in a specific EU book that came out after episode 1,
Ooh.
I think between episode 2 and 3 is when the book came out. They went out of their way to explain how midichlorians work, and I've read that book and it's fucking rough.
But you see how my interpretation of midichlorians like makes sense with contemporary canon.
Oh yeah.
They aren't giving you the force. They just like the force.
Mm-hmm. It's a tasty snack.
It's a tasty snack. But like, yeah, no, this is the Superman that everyone cribs off of from here on out.
I mean, even now, there's still a lot of people who think of the Phantom Zone as the glass pane thing. When in the comics up until this, and even now sometimes when we use the Phantom Zone in comics, it's just a big portal in the sky.
Yeah, I think they've kind of like fused that. It's like you get through the portal and there's like a little thing and you can just see it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I've always seen it after the, you know. And should we talk about the ending?
Yeah, the ending is a little bit rough. I don't love it, but it's a good enough band-aid on the massive gaping wound that was the original plan third act to this movie.
What was the original plan?
I believe it was that Lois would have survived because Superman would have just gotten so angry about having been waylaid that he would go as fast as he does in this move in the movie after she dies, but he goes that fast and he catches the missiles.
Right now it just feels like he just goes back in time.
Yeah.
He time travels.
Which makes no goddamn sense the way they depict it, but who cares? It's
yeah, because everyone always says, "Oh, he turns the Earth back around." It's like, no, he time travels.
Mm-hmm.
You dunces.
Yeah, he created an alternate timeline. Really, Superman is just as irresponsible as Ezra Miller, the Flash, in this movie.
Jesus Christ!
I'm entirely joking.
But Superman, it is a good American classic.
Mm-hmm. It's required viewing if you're a DC fan, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm not going to get mad at you if you're like my age and you haven't seen it before, but if you are my age and you haven't seen it before, please make some time to see it at some point.
It is a movie you should see. It's a movie that like because this is one part of the 1-2 punch of the end of the 70s era of filmmaking and the beginning of the blockbuster era.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was Superman Star Wars. It's just like, bop, bop.
Yep. Well, actually, it was Star Wars Superman because Star Wars was 77. But yeah, it's technicality.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about Superman. It can go first.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, great fucking classic movie. Everybody go see it.
Not even a hood classic, just a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is kind of movie that should be like shown off in like media literacy classes and English classes. It's just like this is movie, this is story structure, and this is all that kind of stuff. It's just good.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's a movie that's shorter. Like I said, going back to, like, it's a movie from a different time where it takes its time with so much stuff. It feels like a long ass movie because of how slow and deliberate certain scenes are, and yet it's shorter than most modern blockbusters.
Because here's the thing, this I say this in the best way. This feels like they are trying to adapt 3 issues of classic comics.
Mm-hmm.
Contemporary comic book movies feel like they're trying to adapt a miniseries.
Yeah.
Back in time and made sure it was out. And made sure it was out first. Jesus. But like it was good. It did what it needed to. Did also I just want to mention
Sword Art Online is used in literature classes. That's the worst news I've gotten all year.
I mean
Holy god
it's
damn.
probably a way to just go like hey, here's the immediacy of a story, you know.
I
Uh
guess.
can I also just mention I fucking it's hilarious to me how embedded in the 70s this movie is
Oh
because
yeah.
from that fucking Warner Brothers logo.
That Warner Brothers logo, the phone booth gag, the pimp, the off-camera child beating.
That's another thing. Like younger kids, people younger than us, don't get the phone booth gag anymore.
Yeah.
They just go like, "Why do you look at the phone booth? Why do you look at a phone?"
Mm-hmm.
Because like we fucking grew up like we're barely should be able to understand that
And that's
joke.
another influential thing about this movie. Before this, it was a pop culture thing that Superman would go into a phone booth to change into his costume all the time because phone booths were a lot more common before the 70s. After this movie kind of popularized the idea that wherever Superman is, he just fucking rips his shirt off and flies off.
It's such an iconic image, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, that like I can just totally see that is bop, that is it. An anime is used in literature classes. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: literature is just the stories that we tell uh, to try and communicate the human condition.
Yeah, I mean, like, an anime is fine. Most animes are
Cowboy
fine if you
Bebop.
want to show them.
Cowboy
It's
Bebop.
just, it's just fucking Sword Art Online that made my brain break for a second there.
Yeah. Um. You ready to talk about some news?
I am ready to news it up. We got a lot of news to slop right down.
We got
Very
it. We got some
festive, newsy
news.
evening.
Some of these are probably going to take very little amount of time because it's just more information on top of information we're going to get. Because the first things first. Hey everybody,
It happened.
Jonathan Majors found guilty of assault and harassment. The lawyers issue a statement, so we can just finally say Jonathan Majors found guilty. Yeah.
It
SAO
sucks.
the light. Yeah, no.
I've read the light novels, Aki. They're trash too.
I think there's a conversation happening in the chat. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But what are you about to say?
Okay. So, from what I understand of the case, because I haven't been able to follow it super closely, but whenever there's been like a major development, I've looked into it. It appears like our assessment of it a few weeks into it still holds pretty true. It was a fairly shitty situation where both people were being kind of assholes, but nobody like did anything super heinous. That being said, Jonathan Majors was the one caught on video being aggressive, and so they have more evidence, and he was the one being charged. So he is the one who has been found guilty of having broken the law. and the thing they found him guilty of. Now he hasn't been sentenced yet. He won't be sentenced until early February.
Yeah, because it's not the full extent of what he was charged with, if I remember right.
Basically, the charge they found him guilty of, the sentencing can be anywhere from a few months of probation to 1 year in prison.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily ready to go like, wow, what a piece of shit. I'm glad they caught him and I feel bad for having supported him. No, if like he works on himself and comes back from this and tries to do other things with his career, I'm still open to giving him another shot, but he's got to do those things. He's got.
But the second you start hearing rumors of him being a shithead, it's like, all right, now, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
However, it seems Kevin Feige was not as forgiving as I
am. Which, you know what? Running a business, that's fair, because Jonathan Majors is dropped by Marvel Studios following the verdict.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say there's no official statement from Marvel or Feige on this. The information apparently leaked to The Verge the night after the verdict came down, and that's just the story everybody's running with. There is no official statement about what Marvel is doing, but apparently the word is that Majors has been told he is no longer needed for his contract, or I guess the word would be they
annulled his contract.
Yeah, they annulled his contract, and they are looking to do something different with the storyline moving forward. Apparently, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty isn't even being referred to that internally anymore. It's just being called Avengers 5 for the moment.
You know what? That's fair. Do you think they're going to recast?
I think it's entirely possible. I would be down for it as long as they're able to tune up the story a little bit, because I'll be the first to admit it has been a little hinky. Not as bad as most people have claimed it has been, but it definitely could be tightened up in a few spots. And I've seen some interesting casting choices going around. You know, I've seen people saying, oh, it would be amazing if Terrence Howard came back to do it. I think
they're not getting him.
I think that would be fun, but nah. Of course, your boy Wesley Snipes would totally be down. Basically, any black actor I've heard thrown around. But I think my personal favorite is Sinbad. I've heard a few people saying Sinbad should do it, and we've heard recently that they actually might be going that way. And actually, hang on, I'm getting. Yeah, okay. We're allowed to do this now. So this is a Modular Media No Prize Podcast official exclusive scoop right now that we're going to be reporting to you. Merry Christmas, everybody. This is our present to you. We can officially report that Sinbad has been cast as Kang in Avengers 5, and I think we even have a preliminary photo of what his costume is going to look like. Boingo, can you take us to that slide right now?
Yep, here you go.
Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Oh my god, so much better than the CGI, right? In all seriousness, I don't give a fuck what they do.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like who might be interesting in it, you know?
I don't know. If they want to go a completely different character direction, because I've heard a lot of people saying like, oh, they're gonna pivot to Doom. And like if they want to do that, that's cool, but like I would like to see them at least finish the Kang storyline in some way.
I would like to see the Kang line finished, the Kang storyline finished. You know what? Jonathan Majors was a rising actor with a lot of interesting credits under his name before he got casted as Kang, and this felt like kind of like a crowning moment of all right, you are now a major leading Hollywood guy. You know what? Hey, Marvel, hire like just a good Broadway black actor.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
he wasn't busy at the moment, I'd say Ncuti Gatwa would be a great fit. Oh, you want to know what else? I saw an article, because apparently there was like a slight campaign of like, oh, get John Boyega back in Hollywood, cast John Boyega as Kang, and somebody directly said like, Because I think he made some kind of Twitter post about stuff in Marvel or comics related, and they were like, they need to put you in, you need to be put in contact with whoever is in
No,
charge with
because he
recasting
doesn't
Kang.
want to work with Disney anymore.
Well, here's the thing: he directly replied to that tweet with like a GIF of a dog going,
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to work with Disney. It's not
"Yeah,
Star Wars, it's Disney.
you're never getting the Finn Disney Plus show. He's not going to be in that new Ray movie, and he's not going to be in a Marvel movie. I'm sorry, guys."
Yeah.
I
Like,
like him too. I think he's a nice guy, but that also comes with saying like, yeah, he probably deserves to stay the fuck away from them after what he was put through.
he doesn't want to work with them anymore. Like, no, it's 100% totally fair. His character did get butchered. I think there was a way to salvage it, but he just doesn't want to go through the headache. That's fine.
Oh, I'm still in the camp that thinks in Abrams and Kasdan's original plan for 8 and 9, he was supposed to become a Jedi too.
Yeah. And I think ultimately that could have been a direction that happened. But Rian Johnson was like, "Oh, here's elements that you did that were in the first one that I want to play with." And it's like, whoa, wait a second. Those aren't the mystery boxes. Stop playing with those. What are you talking about? I want to. This is really good story material, but those aren't the mystery boxes. You need the mystery boxes.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong?
Well,
No.
and the whole thing with those movies, I don't want to get into a prolonged sequels discussion
Yeah.
because we don't have fucking time for that. But the whole thing with those movies, as I understand it now, is Disney's original idea was, oh, we're going to do it like the original trilogy, where it was a completely different writer director for each movie because that turned out so well. And the thing is, that was lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't replicate that all the time.
And even then, it was lightning in one bottle because Return of the Jedi has some rough parts. It's a great movie. It has some rough parts.
Yeah. So you're kind of playing with fire no matter what. So when people really liked The Force Awakens, even though they were like, yeah, it's kind of just an episode 4 remake, but it's good. They should have like done something about that immediately, especially when Rian Johnson got handed a whole bunch of notes from J.J. Abrams and literally threw them away, didn't even look at them. And I'm not being hyperbolic there. They have both said that's what's happened.
Yeah, because that's the difference between their writing styles. J.J. Abrams is very much puzzle figuring out, do the thing, and Rian Johnson's very much no story. Let the puzzle fall. The puzzle can fall to the wayside for story element. You know.
Yeah. End of the story is John Boyega's not playing Kang. I'm sorry.
No, he ain't. I say get just a really good, solid, like 29, 30, 34-year-old, like that age range actor from Broadway, black, who can nail the fun campiness of everything, give him a chance to really become a big star in America, use his chance to make someone big.
Yeah, and also like fuck everybody who's freaking out about like, oh, how are they going to explain it? And fuck everybody who's going like, oh, it's time travel. You can just say the timeline got overridden. There's a really easy built-in explanation. Just James Bond it.
Just okay, hey, remember Iron Man 2? Remember
just
the joke?
Just do that again.
I'm here, don't worry about it.
And don't even do it to like that extent. Have it be like halfway through Kang Dynasty and Ant-Man shows up and he's like, didn't you have like a bigger nose last time I saw you? And he's like, I didn't like that look. I changed it.
It'd be hilarious if it was like War Machine. You know?
No, that happens between Scott and Kang, and then War Machine is standing off to the side and he's like, you can just go change in your face? That's crazy, man. How do you do that?
But let's continue with the news. Jonathan Majors may not face any jail time after the guilty verdict. You were talking about the frame of punishments that he might suffer.
Apparently, inside sources are saying that currently the jury is leaning towards a sentence of 2 to 3 years of probation.
Which, you know what, considering what was on camera is fair, but also considering the fact that it was a mutually toxic and abusive relationship. again, fair.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And this is the last we're ever going to report on this story because I don't expect anything before the new year. And honestly, if he's out of the movies officially now, why should this show even talk about him in 2024?
unless James Gunn hires him, he won't hire him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not happening.
Next up, Warner Brothers Discovery in talks to merge with Paramount. I fucking hate monopolies, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
They're just talking. It's just a couple lunches between the CEOs so far. There has been no paperwork. There has been no official announcements. It is just people going like, "Is this a thing that's happening?"
But man, I saw this news on Blue Sky on Tuesday at work, and I was literally just like, "Is this a dream? Am I hallucinating right now? There's no way this is fucking real. What?"
I hate yeah, I agree, Stick. I hate mergers. Why can't American companies do what fucking Japan does? Oh, we want to work with each other's IPs. Let's just work with each other's IPs.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, basically,
Toho doesn't need to buy Toei.
Mm-hmm. If you're looking at this article, you'll probably notice this is from a news site we've never fucking used before. That's because when I went to grab an article for this today, this was literally the first one I could find that was just the story and was buried under a mountain of opinion pieces going like, there's no way this is actually happening because it wouldn't even remotely come close to saving either company.
Yeah. It is just it's bullshit. Concept of collaboration is dead here. Every company just cannibalizes. Yeah, I agree, Damon. But like, I like that's the thing I like about Japanese media because we both watch a lot of Japanese media. It's just like, oh, you mean they're just gonna these two rival companies will let their big famous IPs work together for a project because they both realize they'll make money off of it. What a concept!
Mm-hmm. And yet Toei don't want Kamen Rider over here.
The biggest fucking franchise in all actuality in Japan right now is the Shin series, and it is from 4 different goddamn companies.
Mm-hmm. That's Hideaki Anno's franchise before it's anyone else's.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like no one controls the Shin IP, but everyone is using. You know, it's just it's a lot of things. The People's Joker DC parody film gets theatrical release. You were telling me about this a little bit.
I'd never fucking heard of this before today, but apparently there is a written, directed, and starring student film that's a full-length feature film that was getting a lot of buzz from film festivals and I think was planned to go to Cannes this year, but ended up getting pulled because it's getting a limited theatrical release now, and if it's successful, it'll go nationwide. And the whole concept is basically a character who is basically the Joaquin Phoenix Joker in an even more twisted version of the DC universe that's meant to be a parody of the DC universe and of that movie's interpretation of the DC universe, which just sounds so fucking weird and cannibalistic that I can't not want to see it.
It feels like it. I hate to put it this way. It feels kind of like the super like before the story starts of Kingdom Come, of just like, oh, it's the hyper violent, hyper image version of DC Comics. It feels kind of like this is the hyper violent, hyper version of all the super serious bullshit comic book movies.
Yeah, because the plot is literally, I believe the description is like something along the lines of an LGBTQ person who is struggling with gender identity realizes they want to become a stand-up comedian, but they live in a city where stand-up comedy is outlawed by a tyrannical vigilante. So they start an underground comedy troupe.
Yeah. Vera Drew as Joker, the Harley Quinn. There you go.
Yeah. It's just like this isn't normally my kind of thing, but it's just fucking weird and within my periphery enough that I'm kind of like, I'm not going to go out of my way for it, but if I get the chance, I might check this out.
Yeah. Yeah. Marvel reveals the X-Men relaunch date. Where? There we go. So we can get the photo.
X-Men From the Ashes is coming in June, I believe it is. Let's see if the image
July.
July. Yes. We don't have any idea who is going to be writing or heading up this, but apparently this is what is happening with X-Men after Fall Rise of Hoxpox.
Yep. That's hey, back.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a big X-Men fan, so you wouldn't recognize that. That's just a very classic logo. That is old school 90s, 80s logo.
We're going back to basics, boys.
Yeah, but I really like the Hickman era graphic design. I'm sad to see it go.
But if we're leaving that era story-wise,
yeah,
I think it's nice that we keep that contained to that era, because that makes it very distinctive and recognizable.
What I mean more is like I don't want to see it keeping. I would like it to have like another new step. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Back to the mansion again. I do think they're gonna go back to the mansion, but I don't think it's going to be back to what it was. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean that place needs a major fucking remodel after the last time we saw it.
Yeah. You know what I could totally see it being is just a mutant community less than a school.
Yeah, make it a campus.
Make it a campus. Make Xavier's college town.
Yeah.
With clubs and ragers. But yeah, no.
That's how they market it in universe, is like, look, the whole island isn't constantly getting drunk and fucking. We have special buildings just for that.
But yeah, no, X-Men relaunch. Also From the Ashes, very obvious Phoenix allusions. Who's gonna be the Phoenix? It's Jean Grey, because we had an entire miniseries about her reclaiming the idea of what the Phoenix is and taking responsibility for it all. Written by Louise Simonson, one of the architects of the Phoenix Saga.
Oh my god, I just had a fucking wild ass idea.
What was your donkey?
So Jean died, and Wolverine and Scott split up, and Wolverine started the Jean Grey school. What if Scott dies, and they start the Scott Summers school?
Oh, you know, there's also been that whole thing of like Scott Summers is the real leader of the mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Plot, like not plot line, but like idea theme. Yeah. Deadpool is getting a new #1 for Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I believe this is coming sometime in like March, June times.
April.
God damn it. I read all of these dates. I made sure to read all of these dates.
On sale, April 3rd.
And then they just completely fell out of my head. But yeah, this is going to be written by Cody Ziegler, the current writer for Miles Morales.
Hey, Miles Morales is pretty good.
Yeah.
Jokes are a little corny, but not bad. But sure.
Yeah, might be worth checking out.
Deadpool has had some good stuff lately.
Yeah. Ever since Deadpool got out of the oversaturation era, most of his stuff has been solid.
Oh, we're going to have some great Deadpool conversations when we talk comics later.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel reviewers first look at Blood Hunt crossover event.
Yep, this is their event for next summer, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to be the Avengers, Spider-Man, Blade, and Daredevil? Moon Knight.
Because there's Tigra and Hunter's Moon right there.
Yeah, it's just fucking everybody fighting vampires, the event. Be excited.
Here's the thing. I don't mind these events, because this isn't saying we're changing everything about Marvel Comics. You know? Mm-hmm. This isn't trying to be Civil War.
That's fair. But it's also like it's at that weird level where it's just a little too low for a casual like me to care. Like, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about Marvel vampires. I just don't.
And here I am just loving all the dumb bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But also the
Bloodstone, that's a great character design, but I don't give a fuck about Marvel vampires in general.
Honestly, yeah, that checks out. Scott Summers should be Captain America. grew up learning about stuff from Magneto and Charles. Yeah, literally, there is a moment early on when basically Magneto and Charles are kind of like having an argument, and Scott basically says, "All right, both of you fucking shut up. You both think
Mm-hmm.
you're the leaders of the mutants, but you're wrong. I am. You want to lead them, but here's the thing: if I ask them to jump, they'll say how fucking high."
Mm-hmm.
That's Scott.
Scott is basically he's the fucking Triple H of the mutants.
Jesus. I'm excited for this. I know you just said you weren't, but it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be vampires. Also, great looking art.
Yeah, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I never hope anything is bad. It's just initially this doesn't interest me.
Do you guys consider Deadpool an X-Men? Yeah.
He's an X-Men. He's just not a mutant. He's a mutate.
Similar to Juggernaut. Juggernaut is right now a good guy and an X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But he is human. He has magic-based powers. And in a similar vein, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are both back in the X-Men fold, but they are not mutants. Regrettably. Spider-Man 2099 co-creator Peter David returning to character with a new Marvel series.
Yep, they're doing Venom for 2099.
Sure, that's fun.
Yeah. I've never really got 2099. Like, I know people really like him. It's cool, whatever. I don't care. This really just seems like, oh, Peter David needs a paycheck.
Here's the thing, I don't mind Marvel going back to old creators going like, hey, do you want a paycheck?
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm glad. Get that bread, guys who worked in an industry that doesn't have a good fucking retirement plan for their entire lives. But it just doesn't interest me because I don't have nostalgia for 2099 like a lot of other people.
Miguel O'Hara has a Venom. He does now.
Yeah. They're inventing it for this series.
Because, yeah, that's the thing. Spider-Man 2099 started before Venom really got popular, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do believe so.
Yeah. Peter David's also a good writer, so.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 prequel series announced by Marvel.
So here's the thing. This is not a prequel to the original cartoon. This is a prequel to the Disney Plus continuation, which means this is meant to span the gap between the original 90s cartoon and the revival, which means it's probably just going to be fluff.
Yeah, or it's going to be like, hey, here's why this character is not going to appear, and here's why this character is introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's a whole issue dedicated to making you care about this version of the Executioner, and then he'll be in like 2 scenes in the revival show. They're going to Captain Phasma him.
Yep. It's comic. Marvel Fight and Armor Magneto by Sentinel.
Yeah, we're getting into toy news now, boys, and there's some interesting stuff this week. Like, hey, this line is still happening, and it's getting even more goofier because now we're putting the guy who can control all metal in a metal suit.
Well, I mean, Magneto has metal in his boots. That's how he can fly.
Is it?
Yeah. How'd you
Okay.
flew?
I think in one of the movies they explain that, like, oh, he rides naturally occurring magnetic waves, but I assumed he just did that intuitively. I didn't know he needed metal boots for that.
In the comics, he uses metal boots, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, well, I've never read a comic that explains that. But yeah, no, this looks cool. I like how they're doing the Magneto blackface thing with the helmet. That's a cool effect.
Jesus Christ, rephrase.
I'm never not gonna call it that.
The Shadow.
Hey, they did the thing.
They did the thing. Medicom Mafex Black Panther with Throne figure for pre-order.
Yeah, so they're doing a reissue of their Black Panther 1 T'Challa that is going to come with a throne. It's basically the same figure they did a couple of years ago, but now you get a chair.
Yeah, it's a cool looking chair.
Yeah, this is the first of our 2 Mafex pre-orders for this month, and admittedly, it's the way less exciting one.
Diamond Select, we're having an Nihilist. Look at him.
Yeah, their Nihilist is finally up for pre-order, and you know, somebody really ought to teach Diamond Select that, like, you can pose action figures in your promotional photography.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing illegal about it. You don't have to have him just standing there in the most plain pose possible.
Yep, that sure is a nihilist.
Yeah, it's the best Annihilus figure we've gotten since Toy Biz, which
See
not
you,
saying much, but it's nice.
see you around, Aki. Go eat, enjoy your food.
Yeah, have a meal, Aki.
Hasbro Pulse votes are in. This is the box art.
Yeah, this is what Giant Man's box is gonna look like before it's been like, properly inked and colored. Uh Free choices. I think this is the most basic one they could have gone with, but it's not a bad one.
Also, we should probably mention real quick. I don't know if you grabbed it for news or anything. So people have been looking into what Hasbro's been doing with the layoffs specifically. There's a lot of job openings for people who are purposely there to redraw things. And it's very clear that they are positions to fix bad AI art, and they are going to use AI art for a lot of their material.
I hadn't heard anything about this.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't put it in there.
That's fair, no, but it's like I don't have the sources, but I have been seeing several people who have been industry artists basically go like, yeah, no, if you were if you were an illustrator, you would be expected to do cleanup work, and these are positions that are purely just for cleanup work. This is very clearly meant to clean up AI art.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, Hasbro pulling a fuck.
don't love that.
Um, yeah. I just felt we need to mention it before we just go like, oh yeah, HasLab and Marvel Legends are cool. You know, acknowledge what the thing happening.
I mean, I wasn't even going to say that. It kind of feels like you just pulled me aside while I was barely mentioning Hasbro existing to kick me in the dick, but okay.
Motherfucker, I like their IPs as well.
I know. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just like, damn, I wasn't expecting that tonight. Okay.
Yeah, it is a fuck situation, Stick. But hey, Mezco 5 Point, Batman, animated figures, and Batmobile.
Hey, look at the boomeriest boomer toys to ever boomer. It's literally what if Kenner Star Wars, but also Batman by way of Nendoroid.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they look nice. They're good sculpts, solid recreation of that original Kenner packaging. But like, I've never loved these depictions of these characters, and I've always found modern 5 Point articulation figures to be a droll gimmick at best.
Yeah. It is a thing.
Mm-hmm. They do got Joker with the hat though, and I always love Joker with the little short hat.
I do like the Batmobile. The Batmobile might be worth it as like just like a model.
Yeah, is definitely one of the Batmobile designs of all time. Is somebody shooting off fireworks down the street? What the fuck?
I don't know. Hey, we got Scarecrow.
Hey, look at this little freak. Oh man, I love him. I kind of wish he had a massive like overcoat like Scarecrow tends to get nowadays, but like this is how he looked in the comic, and I do really like it, especially that unmasked head sculpt, which just has big. My father will hear about this energy.
Also, it's just something interesting. He has tabby shoes.
Yeah,
The Japanese big toe tabby shoe things.
mm-hmm. Definitely looking forward to this guy. I love how Mafex keeps expanding out their Batman rogues. Though that being said, they need to get back to expanding out the Bat family because we got Nightwing and Huntress this year, but like, where the fuck Robin? Where the fuck Batgirl? Where the fuck Jim Gordon?
Jim Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
DC Retro Batman 66 wave. Look at them. They're
doing a wave that is specifically based on the New Adventures of Batman cartoon, which I have to admit, I'm actually kind of interested in these because the New Adventures Batman cartoon is the first Batman and Scooby-Doo crossover.
Ooh.
I had a VHS tape as a kid of that crossover and the episode of Scooby-Doo where they meet the Harlem Globetrotters. It's the only reason I knew what the Harlem Globetrotters fucking were as a kid. But yeah, something about these just hits me in that nostalgia spot just right because they have that right amount of like doofy late 60s, early 70s
Hanna-Barbera animation.
animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look good.
Mm-hmm.
Joker.
That fucking Joker face, man. It's so good. Look at him.
Haha!
He looks like a fuckboy. I love it.
I mean, he does have E-boy hair.
A little bit.
Riddler.
Now, fun fact about this Riddler. I didn't recognize this look. I went and Googled it. He apparently only ever looked like this in the intro for the New Adventures of Batman. Which says to me, this is just something ultra specific Todd remembered from his childhood that he wanted as a figure.
Fair enough, Todd. You have the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's pink.
Pink jumpsuit Riddler. How about it?
Yeah. Batmite and Gordon.
Yeah. I did think this was Alfred when I first saw it, but no, this is how Commissioner Gordon looked in the 60s. And, hey, nice to get a new Batmite figure after a while. Yeah, he's just a little plastic statue, but, like, that scale, that's what you gotta go with.
It doesn't look like... It's not the Batmite I like.
Yeah, no, it's... But you could easily repaint it into that Batmite.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that in Multiverse.
Yeah, there we go. Look at all those bats.
Very solid wave. Tempted to pick up Batman and Robin, because technically they're the only ones that met Scooby-Doo. Although, I think Joker was in that episode.
Yeah, Joker was in those episodes.
Yeah.
NECA's 12 days of downloads, TMNT checklist. Look at all these turtles.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this a little bit last year around this time. Every year in December, NECA does new checklists for all of their lines that they reveal as part of an event called the 12 Days of Download. And they always try to sneak in just a few reveals with each of them. So for the Eastman and Layered Turtles here, most of this we had already seen, except for the second to last figure there, the Foot Enforcer in classic colors. We'd already gotten it in the blue and black, but the more like what you'd expect it to look like in a regular comic book colors are apparently coming at some point, and that has me a little more tempted to pick it up because it did seem like a really solid sculpt.
Neat. Then we got some Last Ronin guys.
Mm-hmm. And we knew this was coming because of Target listings, but there's apparently going to be a Last Ronin accessory pack, and the main feature of it is going to be the busted up Fugitoid, which you can see in the middle of the bottom row there.
Neat. And Eastman Laird's TMNT Adventures, which is the Archie series.
Mm-hmm. Now, technically everything we'd already seen before, but until this, we didn't have official photography of the Stomp Wrestling Turtles. We'd just seen them in the case at SDCC, and so this probably just means they're a little closer to coming out now. And I know there's a lot of people who are really excited for these looks specifically, especially Raph. For some reason, Raph kept that all-black costume for a while after that in the Archie comics. So there's a lot of people who have memories of just seeing like weird covers of the Archie comics at the checkout of the grocery store that happened to feature Raph in an all-black costume for some reason.
But yeah, that's all the toy news. Some interesting things.
Yeah, solid week for toy news. Definitely excited about Scarecrow. Kind of interested in some other stuff.
Are you ready, my friend? Hold on. I wanna make no.
Am I ready for Santa? Yeah, I put out the milk and cookies.
Did you eat the milk and cookies?
Not yet.
Are you ready to talk about some comics?
I'm always ready to talk about some comics.
You know what? I'm ready to talk about some Justice League Godzilla Kong.
This was a pretty well, I'd say mixed week in that we got some really good stuff, we got some okay stuff, and we got some mid stuff.
I think it was well plotted.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'd say this is fairly mid. Where
the art does suffer.
The art it feels a little rushed in spots here, And just overall, the scripting, a lot of it feels like that's a good idea, but you don't have the time to expound upon it. Like, we got all excited last issue about Ollie getting dropped off on Monster Island, and then when it takes like half the fucking comic, and then we finally check in on him in this issue, and he's just like, Mom, come pick me up, I'm scared.
There's a lot of little things like that. It feels like if they had like maybe 2 or 3 more issues, they would have explored it more.
Mm-hmm.
There are some elements that are just like really fucking good. Like there's a moment where Shazam shows up and goes like, "Superman's dead," and everyone's just like crestfallen, and Cyborg goes like, "Well, I'll call Lois," and Batman's like, "No, no, you're
No,
not.
fuck you. Nobody talks to anybody until I see him.
This is like that's Super Batman. It's like, no, that's my best friend. He's Superman. He can't be dead."
Mm-hmm.
Like that just that's very good Batman to me. Uh the Supergirl Kong moment, which I thought was cute.
Yeah, that wasn't half bad.
Yeah, but I agree, kind of a mixed bag. It's good. It's still okay though. It's still fun.
Mm-hmm. That Billy panel though.
That Billy panel though, not great.
I half expect, like, I'll admit I posted that half expecting it to become a meme.
All right. Next comic. Let me double check, make sure. Yep, Batman Superman, World's Finest. We are diving a little bit more into this version of the Kingdom Come universe.
Mm-hmm. Where basically everything that you could have predicted at the start of this arc kind of starts happening, where we find out that Gog and Boy Thunder have been doing some fuckboy shit. They've been manipulating everybody by way of New Gods technology that they co-opted. And then the Superman and Batman of the Kingdom Come universe wake up and they immediately go like, "Oh, oh fuck, we're sorry. We're gonna work with you, multiversal counterparts. We're gonna fix this."
Also, we've never interacted with that multiverse. This is fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, it's solid. I don't love it. It wasn't like real. It didn't like do a lot to wow me, but it was just like, yeah, this is the natural next step in the story. And I mean, Dan Mora's art is always spectacular.
Yeah. And well, and Wade can take time to get to big, cool elements. Wade never disappoints.
Mm-hmm.
You know. You read Jay Garrick, The Flash.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid issue number 3, just kind of following up on all the craziness that happened last issue with Jay basically going to Mr. Terrific and being like, "Hey, so I got my daughter back. I'm assuming you remember her too. Shit's really fucked. Can you help me figure this out? Because we keep remembering stuff from years and years ago." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going through that too. Also, I got my kid back recently." And he's like, "Oh, Stargirl? No. Apparently, Granny Goodness took him years ago, and it's fucking weird." And so we get to catch up with that plot line, and just solid kind of figuring out the next step in the plot, and big reveal at the end that could have major implications for a character that nobody but the writer of this comic fucking remembers.
Jesus. Merry Christmas, Axel.
And yeah, Merry Christmas, Axel.
Let's read Incredible Hulk.
How the Hulk book be going?
Be going good. There's fights. There's implications. Monsters are appearing, and they're going like, "Hulk, you're too bad to be one of our monsters. Fuck you," and it's all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He teams up with a World War II Ghost Rider. That's fun. There's a fucking hilarious moment where like he's being, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but like being pushed into a different like an angry direction. Where after his little teenage girl sidekick cracks a joke, Hulk laughs. It's like, and then there's a panel of him just smashing her to a pulp.
Holy shit!
And he goes like, "Nope, don't want to do that."
Damn.
And then his eyes go all black, and it's like, "Oh shit, something's possessing him."
But
good.
Yeah. I like how Teenage Girl Sidekick is kind of doing the classic like 70s, 80s Marvel character in the corner thing. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. What's next? I read Batman Off-World #2.
Hey, I started to read issue 1 because I was like, hey, everybody said that was really good. I'm gonna read both issues and I'm gonna be able to talk about it on the podcast this week. And then I got halfway through issue 1 and I had a moment where I was like, yeah, this ain't that bad. All right, all right. Wait, this is a fucking mini series. Why am I reading this right now? Because I want to talk about it on the pod. I'm not going to be on the fucking podcast after this month. I don't need to read this. I can wait for it to be over and read it all at once.
But it's a good setup. You can agree to that.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of fun elements. A lot of cool stuff. Batman. Literally, Batman's so Batman that all the aliens are immediately going like, oh shit, it's Batman.
World famous motherfucker.
Like there's a thing where it's like, oh yeah, every once in a while the engines get fucking clogged up with debris and they send back to the casting fucking there you go.
I was waiting for Buster's reaction.
Welcome back, Hockey. We're talking about comics. But basically the engines get clogged up with gunk and they send fucking prisoners down to clear it out. And basically it's like, if you're really good, you survive the first time. Nobody survives the second. Batman has been down there 5 times. Kind of like, yeah, Batman's that much of a badass. And he saves everyone while he goes down there. So no one has died from it. And all the bosses are like, fuck you, you're supposed to die. That's how we kill you. Can't get bit sad. Don't doubt Marvel can, Jesus. Because that's a classic Batman training image.
Yeah. This is what he looks like basically whenever he's hanging out with Ra's al Ghul. So why wouldn't he look like this in space sometimes?
With Tamarinian love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a member of Starfire's race.
Yeah. I mean, she basically just looks like Starfire if Starfire was a butch lesbian.
No, here's the thing. She's at least bisexual because she is attracted to Batman.
Yeah.
Batman Space Slut.
That's gonna be Jason Aaron's next miniseries.
No, because Superman is Space Slut because he got another woman pregnant.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
We both read Wonder Woman.
All right. No jokes. This is my favorite book of the week.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not even gonna question anymore. Tom King is doing a better job at writing Wonder Woman than pretty much anybody has since Greg Rucka left halfway through Rebirth. This was a fucking fantastic issue.
Because here's the thing, this feels like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's a fairly easy concept to execute well, but he executes it so goddamn well in this issue.
It's that classic sick kid situation. Wonder Woman wants to help him out, and it is a boy, but she's not going like, "Oh, you are a boy and you need to do this." It's just like, "No, you're a sick kid, and I want to help you."
Mm-hmm. And it's literally contrasted so well with what is happening in the actual ongoing storyline of the book, where like there's this big cloud hanging over Washington and a bunch of dramatic shit is going on, and the United States is about to declare war on Wonder Woman, and she's just spending the day helping out a kid. Because that's who Wonder Woman is. She doesn't give a shit about you. She doesn't give a shit about your politics. She just wants to help people and do what's right.
And here's the thing. Like, a moment I really appreciate, and it makes me go like, Tom King, you probably read several books about gender theory before you started Wonder Woman, haven't you? Is there's a moment where the boy is sitting with Wonder Woman at the end of the day going like, all my friends say I'm weird, my dad says I'm weird, that my favorite superhero isn't Superman or Batman, that it's you. And I think that makes me think, they make me feel like there's something wrong with me. And Wonder Woman's basic response is, hey, by the way, the patriarchy affects men too. And this is how feminist theory can help you, men.
She just holds him and says, literally, I'm looking at the page right now.
Yeah.
No, my darling boy, there's nothing wrong with you.
But what I'm saying is he's using the base ideas of feminist theory through this very heartwarming, calm character to kind of just go like, hey, dude's reading this book because I'm writing it, Tom King. Here's some feminist theory for you.
Mm-hmm. And that's also like in an issue where he's also peppering in like 2 pages of freaking Steve Trevor fighting people in the barracks for saying Wonder Woman sucks.
Yeah. But it's shown that was the wrong move for him to do, It's tackling it all.
Yeah. And like the secret king stuff is still a little weird, is still a little sus, but
it's being played as it's supposed to be weird. It's like, this isn't how it's supposed to be kind of feeling.
Yeah, it feels uncomfortable. Like, I almost have the feeling of like, maybe at the end of this they're gonna reveal like this is some alternate history universe time travel altering thing that somebody did, and now Wonder Woman is gonna set things right.
But like, I hate to put it this way, there is like a creepy uncle vibe to the king.
Oh yeah,
like there is that kind of
the bit where like he starts explaining like to the president, no, when I say this, I mean you do this thing. It's like, oh fuck this guy.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's a creepy uncle vibe to it. It's a man using his power over other people to do physical things. Like, there's a... Guys, maybe Tom King is just a good writer.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the backup. Backup was cute.
Backup was really cute. Great way to just, like, get that concept out of the way and have a little bit of fun with it.
But it's also... I think that also shows the most out of Trinity as a character yet. She just wants to be seen as equal to her essentially brothers.
Mm-hmm. Which is a great sort of contextualization of the real world thing of like, we say there's a DC Trinity, but in the popular culture, it's really like people just know Batman and Superman as characters, and they know Wonder Woman as a piece of iconography. They don't really know who Wonder Woman is or what she's about. And like the movie kind of helped out with that, but it's been walked back since, I would say.
Yeah, the sequel did a lot to sour people on Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And also just people figuring out that Gal Gadot is a piece of shit in real life. But also,
I mean, not that hard. She is Israeli.
Yeah. Daniel Sempei's art in this is fucking fantastic. That 2-page spread of them hanging out on Paradise Island. Oh my god, what I wouldn't give to have the fucking original of that.
With all the Golden Age fucking references, it's great.
Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. Like, I think I talked about this in issue 2, but I just love how Tom King is always just like, yeah, Golden Age classic stuff, it's just canon again. I don't care. Fuck you.
I mean,
Wonder Woman has a pet kangaroo. Kangaroos are part of Amazonian culture.
But yeah, Wonder Woman good. Anything else we want to say about it?
No, just a great issue. And like you need to know a little bit about what's going on in the arc of basically just like, yeah, Wonder Woman is having issues with the government, and we revealed there's a secret king that's running the United States government. But I think this is a pretty good done in one.
Yeah. I read spine-tingling Spider-Man.
Did your spine tingle pretty good?
Yeah. You get more and more reveal of like what's actually happening. Mysterio was in a saw trap. It's all kinds of fucked. It's gone from like, oh my god, this is all spooky, to, oh shit, we're in a slasher film. The Secret King running USG is Mickey Mouse. Jesus Christ. Number 0 is really good. This is really good. This is really good. Really solid. However, the ending wasn't bad, but Jesus Christ, The ending. Okay, just Spider Side shows up at the ending,
Oh my god.
and he
That's
go.
all you need to say. That's all you need to say right there.
Yes.
Somebody used Spider Side in 2023.
And he referenced the jackal because
Oh
because the jackal's
no.
behind it all.
Oh no.
I think he's trying. I think Abed is trying to make a good Spider Side jackal story.
You can't do that. It's not possible.
He's done it so far.
I don't know.
Clone Saga, Clone Saga. Yeah, Spider Side. Uh,
I fell all the way out now. Hang on.
let's give Thack a chance to get his butt in a piece of seat. You good? You good there, buddy? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm back by popular demand.
No, you're not. You're leaving in 2 weeks.
For one night only, I'm back by popular demand.
It's fine thing with Spider-Man. Good.
How about that?
Yeah. We both read Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night.
I like the scripting in this issue, but man, was I annoyed that they felt the need to have a fill-in artist for half of this.
It's, yeah, you know what? It's not the worst. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not even bad art. It's just it's a completely different feel from what the book has been going for so far, and it feels very off.
Yeah.
But once we get back to the artists we've had for the last 2 issues, it's just as enjoyable as it has been.
Hawkgirl wasn't posed that bad in the book.
Yeah.
There's a great moment where Wonder Woman is able to like talk to the harpies and calm the situation down. It's just like, yeah, that's Wonder Woman. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Also, of fucking course Superman wouldn't write to Santa for himself for Christmas. Of fucking course he'd ask for something that his parents were probably just going to buy themselves anyway.
It's great, but I just love how awestruck Superman is that Santa exists. It's just like, Santa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That should be a multiversal constant. It's just Superman loves and believes in Santa Claus wholeheartedly.
Realistically, it makes total sense. He's just like, I exist, so Santa should exist. It's not that far out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Also, a solid little fight with Krampus at the end.
Yeah. Also, hints and implications that something's deeper going wrong with Krampus.
Yeah.
Also, Krampus kidnaps Damien.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Good little book.
Yeah.
Let me double check. Yep. We both read Doctor Strange, number 10. So, how did you like Doctor Who? The last Tenet special?
It's pretty good. It's funny because this was definitely written before that, but like, damn.
Yeah, it's literally, hey, what if we had 2 nickels?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doc Strange and General Strange just like Doc Strange forces General Strange to get fucking therapy.
Mm-hmm. Though I do really like that, like, it comes from one of my favorite tropes in modern media of defeating a villain, of just like, no, I make them understand how much of a shithead they've been, and then they start apologizing.
Yeah.
I've loved that trope ever since I first saw it in the Inheritance cycle. That's how they beat the big bad in those books.
No, Buster, they do the by generation let the Doctor heal thing. Because basically Doctor Strange goes like, "Hey, General, you were traumatized and you were also the victim. Let's heal you."
Mm-hmm. Also, the Stranges technically have a kid now because they're just gonna keep fucking what's her name, Clea's little sister, Clea's little half sister.
I think until she's like a certain age, and then like her parents will probably come back and go like, "Hey."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff in the book, though. It's great.
Yeah.
I love
the.
Steven's. I love Steven's explanation of like that guy is still technically me, and I would want to give myself as much of a chance to actually heal from something. You know.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, I don't think we've given enough credit to Pasquale Ferry. Fucking amazing art in this book lately.
Oh yeah.
Love the wispiness and the kind of like weird, just throwing paint at a canvasness of some of the more trippy sections.
Oh yeah. Doc Strange, good.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is good, y'all. How did you know?
Yeah.
I read The Spectacular Spider-Man, number 182, part 5 of 6 of The Child Within.
Every time I see one of these covers in the slideshow, I'm just like, what just happened?
Classic comic jump scare.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a fucking back issue.
I think this is the issue where they revealed that that Vermin was a victim of sexual assault as a child.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Because basically he's confronting his dad going like, you touched me in places.
All right.
Spider-Man has the quickest breakthrough in therapy ever of just like, I shouldn't blame myself for my parents' death. Oh yeah, Vermin. Wait, Buster.
Buster, that title actually comes from comic books. It wasn't made up for your silly little cartoon show.
Buster, what are you confused about? What are you confused about?
I think Buster had no idea that there was a comic called The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Because I know I didn't as a kid. I thought everything was either called Spider-Man or The Amazing Spider-Man until I was about 14, 15 years old.
Buster's probably confused about Vermin.
Oh.
Though this is making me really enjoy Vermin as a character. It's really good.
Great. You can add him to your little cabal of when I one day get to write for Marvel.
Yeah. Chips is actually spectacular. There you go.
Oh.
The Child Within Spectacular Spider-Man. He's pregnant.
This is just how like early 90s art looked, Buster.
Yeah, this is just how it kind of was for a bit.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. For a long while, covers were just not amazing.
Yeah.
It's only like early to mid 90s when covers really started becoming something more.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I get the confusion of it, but like it's just how it looks. I don't like it either. Like I think I've said this once or twice before, but I also know this is a hot take, so I'm going to preface this with I'm sorry. I don't like pretty much all 90s comic art. Like I am that guy who looks at Jim Lee and goes like, why did people like this? This is really weird and like sharp and the lines are thick in weird ways I don't like. What are you doing?
But yeah, no. Peter Parker has a breakthrough. He fights Vermin, and Green Goblin shows up, and it's like, oh, fucking shit. Of course. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Is good. I read number 40 of Amazing Spider-Man, the next part of Gang War.
Oh my god, it's back!
Well, I'm only doing it for Gang War, and also you're leaving next week, so it's fine.
Okay.
Flashbang of news.
Well, have fun with that.
There isn't a new Spectacular book. That's a classic Spectacular book.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'll think. Okay. Tombstone and Spider-Man are teaming up, and Tombstone is going like, "Yeah, no, I've been kicked out. They're never gonna let me be a gang leader again. I'm just trying to no, it's not a reprint.
He's just reading a classic arc right now, and he decided to make it part of the show. No. We've been doing this for weeks. Do you not watch the full show?
I don't think Buster does. Tombstone and Spider-Man teaming up, trying to calm down New York. Tombstone's basically going like, yeah, no, because I'm doing this, I'm also just giving up my criminal empire. I'm kind of done. Like, I'm done. It's more of like I'm giving up that life so I can calm down New York. Well, they are now.
I think it's weird too, but it's Boingo's show, so I'm not going to debate it like this. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is fun. There's a whole big misdirection of who Spider-Man and Tombstone are going to go deal with, because he says Fisk and he thinks, oh, the Rose. And it's not the Rose. They go and deal with Wilson Fisk, who is using the Hellfire Club as his new gang. Speaking of Vermin, if they remake Lady Vermin from the Unlimited Spider-Man cartoon, I'm gonna make sure I buy the physical copy. I will cross borders and go to India to hunt that issue down. Okay, this next part of Gang War is good. It is only let down by John Romita Jr.'s art and the coloring of such, because I've seen some recolors of John Romita Jr.'s art in retro style, and it looks 10 times better. Mainly due to the fact that Tombstone's daughter has a new supervillain costume, and it is dumb as fuck.
Oh?
It is like, she has 5 spikes coming out of her head and pointing forward.
What's it called? I want to see this.
I don't remember what it's called. You can always go into the new issue of Amazing Spider-Man and like scroll through it real quick.
But the radiation's really high in there.
Yeah, but you don't have to read any of the words.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right now. I want to see this costume.
It's not great. It's not.
I love me a bad costume, bro.
It's not. It's not good. Back trying to find its new fetish material.
Yeah. You know it. You know it.
I mean, it is very latexy.
I mean, she's not blonde, so. Jesus Christ!
Pac, would you like to describe the costume to the audience?
It looks like they just went, what if we put spikes on her old costume?
But also give her, like, teeth.
Teeth? And she's got, like, fucking Batman gauntlets, except the Batman gauntlet spikes are also on her boots? What?
Yeah! Bad costume.
Why would you do that?
Hold on. I'll. You know what? Everybody deserves to see this costume. Everybody deserves to see this costume. I'll find it real quick. Give us a second, everybody. But yeah, here's the thing. Since you're not reading the book, the reason she wears that costume is for intimidation. It's just like, they need to know to be afraid of me.
Oh, hey, Bloody Mary's back. When did that happen?
Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid Mary, whatever.
I have no idea. She's just there. They don't explain it.
Okay.
It's just like, here's Typhoid Mary. Also, we're completely ignoring how that one writer made her cheat on Wilson Fisk.
Also, I don't think they gave this costume a name. I think it's just what she's wearing as Beetle now.
Yeah, it's just like, it's the new Beetle costume.
It's the shit Beetle costume.
Also, Tracksuit Mafia shows up.
Yeah, gotta love the Tracksuit Mafia.
And it's just like, they're one of the gangs vying for control, and I think that's neat.
That would be hilarious. Oh, you want to know something funny I saw on so Tumblr
everybody,
the other day?
Here is the new Beetle costume.
Jesus Christ, it looks even worse than I thought it did. How'd that happen?
And the best part, how do I look? Like you mean business.
Those are the words of a scripted dialogue sequence that was written far before they finished the character design.
Oh yeah, also, by the way, she has a spike mohawk going up as well.
God damn.
That is a costume. Axel, this is the Beetle. She is a supervillain. She is the daughter of a classic Spider-Man villain, Tombstone. And she is currently engaged to marry one of Spider-Man's best friends. But here's the thing. I think I wouldn't say all the problems of this costume is the coloring, but a lot of John Romita Jr.'s art problems are the coloring.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like Beetle is a solid character. I've read books that she's been pretty good in, but like what in the goddamn is that costume? It looks like if somebody tried to make a fusion between a Common Rider and a Cenobite and
No,
then
no,
like had
you
a
know what this
budget of
is? You know
$10.
what this is? John Romita Jr. watched Tokyo Ghoul. This is totally a Tokyo Ghoul mask.
I ain't seen Tokyo Ghoul. I don't get that.
Anybody in the chat who's seen Tokyo Ghoul, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's not a Tokyo Ghoul mask. Hold on, let me I'm not wrong. Buster's backing me up. Where's can I get one of the masks? Yeah, that's like a live action version. Where's there it is. Look how edgy this is.
See, but that actually looks kind of good though.
All like every ghoul has masks like that in the fucking manga. Tokyo Ghoul, that sounds accurate. Do you like Super Sentai or Kamen Rider more? I like Kamen Rider more.
I think they both have their own merits to them. They're pretty good.
Yeah, this is all just the one main character mask. But yeah. There's Rose and there's Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, back in her classic 80s fit.
Yeah, with Wilson Fisk and all the little mooks from Hellfire Club.
Yeah, they got Emma's Butt Boys in on this one.
Yeah. Because there's a breakup between Colorback. The Beetle costume, on the other hand, is no color. Yeah. There's a lot of things.
Well, I can't wait for that to be a Marvel Legends in 6 months.
Buddy. Oh, buddy, oh, pal, friend of mine. Hey, guess what?
What?
I read Gods.
Oh my gods.
Something's happening. Something goofy's happening. Existential Marvel multiverse bullshit. And Oblivion, the abstract concept that's equal to eternity.
I know.
Just walks into the bar and starts being a fucking menace.
I also forego about Marvel Gods on a regular basis, Buster. Every week when I see it come up on the site where Boingo and I read comics, I see it and I go like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna have to listen to Boingo talk about this on Sunday."
You know what? I'll leave it at that. It's fun. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. But it is very much, it is techno babble on top of Marvel babble, so to speak. But it is good. We both read Green. Let me double check. Yep, we both read Green Lantern War Journal.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Solid issue. Just reminding you why John Stewart is the best Green Lantern, actually.
John Stewart's a pretty damn good Green Lantern.
Yeah, because he's dealing with a whole bunch of mental bullshit, and he's also just pushing through and turning his ring back on the hard way and fighting off a space zombie virus all at the same time, because he's just that fucking good.
And Steel is there, because we have to remind the audience that DC has at least 2 black superheroes.
Yes.
I hate to put it that way, but Steel is just there as like, hey, you want to use my workshop? Yeah, I'll love to use your workshop.
We need a workshop to work on the ring. Who's the one character who has a workshop right now?
It's good,
I
though.
guess we're going to Metropolis.
The book is good.
Mm-hmm.
Book good. I love how all the Green Lantern books are just going like, yeah, Green Lantern's been fucked. We're just telling a story of how they get back to being regular Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
They need to replace War with Peace in a lot of comic titles.
Green Lantern Peace Journal.
Punisher Peace Journal.
Punisher Peace Zone.
It was either Steel or Mr. Terrific, yeah.
Or Oberon.
Yeah. And if he was rich, Batman.
Yeah.
You know what? I do appreciate DC going like, you know what? Some of the most powerful people in the DC universe are black men.
Secret Beast. Oh
That's
my
when you
god,
need to be
dude!
really quiet and you go up on the side of the toilet instead of the water. Secret peace.
Civil peace.
Oh god. Okay. Anything more we need to talk about Green Lantern?
No, it's a solidly written book. This is the
Art's
most
good.
I've enjoyed it in a few issues. I don't love this art style, but I will say it's competently done.
Yeah. Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos.
I didn't love this issue, but it wasn't bad.
Now, this issue's just here to go like, hey, how did the werewolf stuff happen? Oh, she's a fucking witch.
Yeah, weird old world magic shit.
Yeah. Also, Nick Fury wants to get out there and fight the good fight.
Yeah, he gotta go be with his boys, Nick and the boys.
It's just fun to see Cap Wolf. I enjoy Cap Wolf.
Yeah.
It's so funny that one of the long-standing elements of Captain America,
World Peace Hulk. That's great, Sticks.
one of the long-standing pieces of Captain America lore is just he turns into a werewolf.
Yeah.
We both read Superman.
Oh my god, this fucking issue, dude.
I love how this run of Superman is kind of going and breaking down Superman to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, Superman working with Lex. Hey, is that fair? Is that right thing to do? Here's a character questioning that choice and decision.
Yeah.
Here's
Also, is this the first thing you read drawn by Bruno Redondo?
Has he been drawing the rest of the Superman book?
No, this is the first issue of it he's written. He was the artist on Nightwing for a long time, and I believe he still is, but this is the first time I've seen him drawing something for DC besides Nightwing. So I was curious if you'd seen his work before.
I have no idea, but it's a good book. It's good. It was well drawn.
Yeah. I love his panel flow. It's like him and anybody who's being given instructions from Tom King. They're the only people who have like an incredible sense of panel flow anymore.
Zach, you can call me crazy if you want, but this week felt very weird reading comics because it felt like all of them had manga flow.
That's fair. I can see that a little bit.
Because normally it's comics, it's left to right, and then you go down.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it feels like there was a lot of panels where you start at the top left corner, you go down, and then you go up again.
Yeah, and it's also just like Redondo has this way of like having the word bubbles and the art itself kind of swoop around throughout the page.
Here's the thing, I was never confused with any of the panel layout. It was just more of like, wow, I'm starting to feel some of the manga influence on panel layout.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a lot of large vertical panels that take up the whole page.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
But no, I really dig a lot of the developments here. Lois reading all the letters to Superman while he's recovering is such a
heartbreaking.
Powerful little scene. Perry suspending his campaign until the city's back on his feet feels perfectly in character.
But that also feels like a perfect, like, hey, this is why the people vote for him, because he did this good thing, and that's why they believe in him.
Yeah, Jimmy taking over the Daily Planet is going to be fucking hilarious in a couple issues, I bet.
I would love it if he was just very competent at it.
Mm-hmm. And Lena joining Supercorp is just fucking hilarious. I can't wait to see where that goes.
Oh, yeah. And the final page reveal is great.
Yeah. Oh my god. Somebody remembered who fucking Nighthawk was. That's so wonderful.
I did not know who the fuck that was. I was like, is this a reference to something? Is this like...
That's just an old DC Western character who hasn't been used since the New 52.
Is the current Superman run done with its first arc? No?
Sort of, kind of. Technically, we're starting the fourth arc right now.
Yeah.
But it all kind of flows together.
I mean, it's only 9 issues, Buster. If you want to start reading Superman, just start from the beginning of this run. It's really good.
Yeah. Also, how much you want to bet those two little boys on the train are Lex's ancestors?
Oh, No, they're the dudes that have been the evil scientists.
Oh my god, how did I not fucking realize that?
They're the little scientist guys.
I'm so goddamn stupid. As soon as you said that it makes perfect sense.
Because one has the black curly hair and the other has the bangs in front of the eyes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Also, Todd, when are you making this weird, gross, creepy spider dude?
Mm-hmm. Also, Todd, when are you making Cowboy Superman?
Cowboy Superman, Cowboy Superman.
Like, I know he also got a new armor suit in this issue, but like, no, give me Cowboy Superman.
Also, best Superman armor because it doesn't look like Injustice.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about this book?
Really, really good issue.
Really good issue. We both read The Uncanny Avengers.
Speaking of really good issue,
this is the final issue of this little mini, and goddamn, this is just, hey, everybody who hates Stevel, here you go.
Also, like, is it just me, or is it a little uncomfortable to see comic book characters actually saying Stevel?
It's a little bit, but like, it feels like it's meant to make fun of him.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably only going to be for this issue, because at the end of it, he takes on the name Flag Smasher.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine, because I don't think anybody really cares about the original Flag Smasher these days.
No. But the fight's fun. The fight's good. I love how much Deadpool is able to get in on him because he tricked him.
Mm-hmm. I love how far they take Deadpool's powers in this. That's really cool imagery.
Deadpool's just the MVP of this book.
Yeah, and the fact that they use it to reset Rogue, not to like factory settings, but now she's like weird, old-looking Days of Future Past Rogue,
which is fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun bits of that. I love the references to the Daredevil story with Nuke.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like laying him out on the desk of Urich.
Yeah, and also just like the way he talks to the officers in Orcus and about things in general. Oh my god, I love that he's calling himself Grant Rogers and he's going like, the other guy tainted our first name. Like, that's such a wonderfully dickish villain move.
Oh, it's so good. This is a really good miniseries. Like, it's steeped in continuity, but it's fun. All the characters are enjoyable. Psylocke and Monet got nothing to do, but like they were fun to watch.
Yeah. And like this has completely rehabilitated the image of Stevel as far as I'm concerned. Like Stevel has gone from like one of the most horribly irksomely controversial things in comics ever that ruined his creator's career to being like, no, this is actually like, this is fucking Steve Rogers' Venom. I want to see more of this guy now.
Oh, yeah. Especially now with, like, his Flag Smasher motif. Like, it's gonna be good. Yeah, Deadpool just being, like, fucking MVP, because Rogue is having to be at the blast zone of a bomb, and, like, they have to get Deadpool fast enough and close enough where he is able to, give Rogue the healing factor. It's just, like, great.
Stevel was indeed the secret Hydra Cap from Secret Empire. Mm-hmm. However, he is now calling himself Grant Rogers, and his codename is Flag Smasher.
Yeah. And basically, he's calling himself Flag Smasher because he's like, America has been tainted. And I'm going to break that weak version of America and remake it stronger. One could say I'm going to make America great again.
He's like alt right.
This is MAGA Cap.
Yeah.
Like literally, if he said "Make America Great Again," I would not have batted an eye at that speech.
Mm-hmm.
Good little run, good little bit.
Yeah. Also, Cap's still got his robot arm. I don't expect
robot arm
to acknowledge that at all.
Robot arm sleeve thing. It's a cast.
Yeah.
We both read Uncanny Spider-Man #5. This is the end of the Uncanny Spider-Man miniseries.
I did read the whole series of this, because this was the end of this.
Did you also read Blue Origin?
Yeah, I talked about
Okay,
Blue Origin with you on the show, dude.
I would also just like to establish continuity for this.
Yeah. But no, this has been a solid little series, and it got a pretty good wrap up here.
Yeah.
Love the classic, like, you thought you had us trapped, but not fuck boy reveal. That was real good, real well done.
Also, freeing Warlock was fun.
Mm-hmm. Getting a little coda with Kurt and Pete at the end there.
Yeah.
Man, it's nice how, like, Pete is acting the same way he is in ASM, but the way literally anybody else writes him, he doesn't come off like a dickhead.
Yeah.
It's just like, nah, he's going through it right now. That's just how
Yeah,
Spider-Man be. Whatever.
It's just like, I'm going through some shit and I'm gonna crack jokes because that's my fucking trauma language. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, cool. I'll see you later. Fuck.
Also, I appreciate that just 2 weeks after the issue where they retconned it, they're like, all right, let's lay down the law here. Kurt's not gonna be calling Mystique dad. She's one of his moms. She says that herself.
Yeah. I also love
little jokes, Reddit.
I also love fucking Mystique being a mom over Kurt's current girlfriend.
Is that how you were supposed to read that scene? Because I kind of read it like she was flirting with her.
I don't know. It's just I didn't read it as flirting because to me, Mystique is only going after Destiny. She doesn't philander. You know.
I guess that's fair. That's probably the right interpretation.
It felt very much more of like, so you're dating my son, eh? That's what that panel reminded me of, you know?
Well, when she says in literally one book, it's like, oh, so that's why my son likes you. And then Silver Sable says stuff on her udder, and she's like, no, I was referring to your shapely bottom. And Silver Sable makes a face, and I was like, is that... Like, in other media that has LGBTQ characters, that's definitively flirting, but I just don't know with Mystique yet.
No, I think it's very much more of, like, it is her being glib and just going, like, I have seen who my son dates. He is not that strong of character. He goes for hot women. You know?
Fair enough.
Good book, good issue. Also, Legion still sticking around in part, but he's weird and tiny and says like, "Hey, I'm in your heart." Which, with Legion, you don't know what the fuck that means.
He's also just like a weird fragment of Legion.
Yeah. It's good. It's solid. It's funny.
Yeah.
I read the final issue of Astonishing Iceman.
Is Bobby dead?
No.
They didn't dead him?
No.
Okay.
He fights Mr. Clean. They have a big old fight. Mr. Clean accidentally blows himself up. So he blows up Iceman, but Iceman's too good for that, and he reconstitutes himself. Slowly and surely. He'll be back eventually, but he is gonna take him a moment. It's a fun fight scene. It's fun, good. The one thing I don't like about this book is just how much this couple apparently like fucks and makes out with other people, like without establishing that that's something they do. Because like the final page is Romeo, Iceman's boyfriend, just in a house, and there's just another dude's legs on the bed, and I'm just going like, did you already fucking rebound after Iceman died? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's a little fucked.
Like, I don't know what, like, I don't know.
Iceman, always with the problematic LGBTQ plus representation.
Because there is because Romeo goes up to the window and there is frost on it saying like, I'll see you soon from Bobby. And it's just like, oh, that's supposed to be sweet and heartwarming. Who the fuck is that dude? What the fuck, my dude? Why you... It's just... Yeah. It's not enough to taint the entirety of the book for me, but it is just like... Okay. What are you doing? We both read Wolverine number 40.
This is the first time in a long time I have said this about an issue of Wolverine. This was mid as hell.
Really? I really enjoyed this.
Nah, I didn't care for this. I didn't like the opening scene where Wolverine comes in and steals Spider-Man's hot dog. That was kind of funny and good character stuff. And then just their bickering and like
well, the bickering's the point. That's the final thing Wolverine says is like, I've been trying to force making a team again, and I have been avoiding my actual family. Fuck, I need to go back to talk to the X-Men.
Mm-hmm. And I just it wasn't fun for me to read, and also I'm gonna say it, I don't like this artist. I thought this artist was kinda rough.
Oh, that's fair. Though I do agree, I don't think I want Percy to write Spider-Man. I don't think he has a good voice for Spider-Man. It's not great.
Yeah. This issue just wasn't for me.
But I do like Wolverine coming to the conclusion of like, no, I've been trying to fill this hole in my heart. I need to go back to my family. You know?
Yeah.
What's next?
And so now he's gonna go fight Creed for a bunch of what the fuck?
So I decided, fuck it, I want to read some more retro books.
Oh my god.
So this is Night Watch from Marvel Comics.
How is this not an Image book?
Because this is Marvel trying to rip off Spawn.
Are you for fucking serious, bro?
No, I am dead serious.
What in the goddamn?
Okay, here's the thing. Dollar Store Spawn, you are correct.
This is a Spawn figure that they clipped all the spikes off of and then took a can of chrome spray paint to.
Okay. So, here's the thing. This book, this first issue, you're already supposed to know who the fuck this character is. Because this isn't his first appearance.
I hate how I'm not surprised they tried this.
Okay. So you were aware of Spawn, right?
I've heard of him.
So you know the story of Al Simmons, a mercenary who's killed and makes a deal with the devil so he can go back to see his wife. But the deal is with the devil, so he becomes a Hellspawn.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know how his powers are super dumb and complicated, right?
Uh-huh.
Inverse that for this guy.
What the fuck?
His powers are super easy to understand. He has a nanomachine mesh suit that moves to his commands.
Okay. That's basically modern Iron Man, but
like he has a cape and the cape does things and tacks and it's like it moves like Spawn's cape. Right?
Alright.
And I have no idea what the fuck his origin is.
There's not even like a recap flashback page?
No. It's just, hey, you've been seeing Night Watch and Spider-Man, haven't you? Because that's where his first appearance was. Here you go. Here's a book.
What the fuck, dude? I think comic books might be bad, actually.
Oh. It's just hilarious. I love the logo. I like. Hey, Marvel Legends Night Watch win.
They could do him really fucking easy. They could just like they don't even have to do a unique sculpt. They could just throw this guy on the frickin' Vulcan body. Maybe sculpt up new forearms for those like weird.
They
gloves.
go all the way up to the shoulder. Just replace it with Colossus arms.
Yeah, just put on Colossus arms on the Vulcan body. You don't even have to sculpt up a new cape. They got a couple cape sculpts that look like that.
All you need is a head
just
sculpt.
the head.
Because that is physical detail that's around his head.
Fuck.
This is so dumb. This is the epitome of what the fuck were you doing in the 90s, Marvel. It's hilarious. It is comedy. And that's the last book we fucking read. Oh boy. Comics. To rip your heart
you
out,
all
kid.
have enjoyed the little journey from Christmas Eve into Christmas here. What a magnificent time.
Merry Christmas. I hope you had a hoppy. If you drank some beer, you had a happy Hanukkah. A happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas to all my homies and Happy Hanukkah to all my shalomies.
I hope Merry Kwanzaa, whoever celebrates that. Happy Yule.
I hope you hit somebody in the face real good on Boxing Day.
Festivus for the rest of us. And
God bless us, everyone.
All right, Timothy. Yeah, baby, Boxing Day.
I've actually got money held back for day after Christmas sales this week. I'm a little bit excited.
But I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope everybody had a fun time. Vac, do I even need to ask you to plug your shit? Because after this week, you're gone.
I got one video left on Saturday at the Vacuuminator on YouTube.com.
There we go. Hi, I'm Boingo. I do a variety of stuff on the internet. Boingo, twitch.tv/BoingoWriter. I'm on YouTube at Boingo Writer. I'm on a ton of social media platforms. Search for Boingo Writer or Boingo_Writer. It's going to be one of those. And in the meantime, this is Modular Media's No Price Podcast. Your home for all comic book, movies, and merchandise podcasting needs. We also have several other podcasts, including Components, where
the shit do be getting shot.
Yeah, three of us will be shooting and shitting.
Yeah.
Y'all
are about to enter a restructuring period.
Yeah.
Bear with them, listeners.
We also have my Analytical Fanboys. We're one piece of... I just realized you're the one who came up with the name Analytical Fanboys, and you're leaving. It's just going to be a remnant. That's your remnant.
Do you want me to send you a little napkin that says I officially signed a copyright over to you?
Just write down on a piece of toilet paper, take a picture. Analytical Fanboys is a monthly media cast where one member picks a piece of media, the others engage with it, and however it needs to be engaged with, and then we have a discussion about it. This month is going to be on Motor City. Baby. And this is a Modular Media. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Do all of the things. So help us out. Spread us. Make Vac regret it in a year where we're very big YouTube people. Yeah? You good?
No, that would make me smile, actually. That'd be really nice.
You know damn well the minute any of us succeed, we're just going to call you up and go like, hey, I'm a success. Do you want me to try to rub the lamp one last time for you? Look, I know you enjoy making things and you enjoy talking about things. And it's just I don't want that flame to go out.
That's true. And it's not like it will.
Yeah. But again, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And I hope you enjoyed Night Watch.
I hope you have a happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. But for us, we do celebrate Christmas, so I'd like to end off by just saying, hey, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Enough said. There, you're big now.
Oh.